Aunt Patty's on the square. Parke County's oldest antique mall, with 22 years on the southeast corner of the square. We have 25 dealers who take great pride in stocking and maintaining their booths. In 7,500 square feet, you can find almost everything from the smallest penknife to great jewelry, vintage coins, sports cards, dishes like Grandma had, all the way to a large piece of furniture. We're open 7 days a week. Our hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday, noon to 5.
Okay, just turned 4 o'clock, folks, so let's start off with the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming all. We'll get through this as quickly as we can. We have a couple of sets of minutes to approve, one for February 7th. And then one for the last meeting, May 2nd.
I looked over the slides, I didn't really see anything.
No, I didn't either, and I looked at everything, and we was all three here. I can't remember what even happened, how that one got missed, but I make a motion, we approve the minutes for May 2nd and February 7th of 2022.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And we have payroll in the amount of $188,807.24.
You go ahead, Bruce. I'll make a motion, we approve payroll in the amount of $188,807.24.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Thanks. Aye.
I always like to reiterate, when we approve payroll and we approve accounts payable, we are not approving that the facts, that the amounts are correct. We have no way, of course, that we would ever know that. What we are acknowledging is that these are the numbers that we've been given by the auditor, and these are the numbers we're going to do business off of. And if something should change, then we would make a note. We would have a note in the minutes that that was an amount that we agreed upon at the time that the payroll was given to us. What's the date today? 16th. Okay. All right, then we need to acknowledge the receipt of payroll claims accounts payable report in the amount of $78,694.35.
And I make a motion, we acknowledge the receipt of the payroll claims in the amount of $78,694.35.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, new business. We have a request for a hand-typed check for $34,000 from the Public Defender's Office. What's that, WC? What's that?
I don't remember what they made the name of that.
West Central Indiana Public Defender's Office.
Ah, okay. I'd make a motion that we approve the $34,000 out-of-cycle check for the West Central Indiana Public Defender Office.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And then we have an ordinance 2022 -04 for the Plan Commission. The ordinance that we've been given here is an ordinance to vacate an undeveloped part of Valley Drive in Hidden Valley Subdivision 2 in Union Township.
There's also a proposal to amend the zoning map also along with that.
Okay.
And the recommendation from zoning was that it be granted.
Okay. And then we have the same day, same meeting, also a motion we need to do.
Yes,
Approval?
that's in there.
Anything, it seems like it's been a different process than we've had in the past. We've not seen the cards that were sent to the adjacent landowners, that type of thing, so all that's in place?
So, I mean, really under the statute, it allows for it to go before you guys or before zoning. Really, probably the appropriate one would be to go through zoning. Zoning is always subject to you guys, though, also,
Right.
as a final.
Yeah, they only make a recommendation, either accept or not.
Right. This particular one chose to go through them first and then to you guys. I wasn't at the meeting where they reviewed this, but Cassie informed me they met all the requirements.
Okay.
So I
So-
would assume she has all the notices and everything in her possession.
So there's no other adjacent landowner that it would affect that has not agreed to it?
Right,
that you're
yeah,
aware
they
of?
either attended that meeting, which, to my understanding, nobody objected at the meeting.
Okay, good. That was my only concern.
Yeah.
Typically, we see those cards, and we know that everybody's been notified, everybody's had a chance to remonstrate against that, and if there's no conflict, then there's no reason not to do that.
Right, so my
Is this-
understanding from talking to her is that that was all done appropriately
Okay.
and nobody's in objection to this.
This alleyway, these people, they own both sides of the alleyway?
I don't know the answer to that question.
See, that's the other tough part. You
Right.
can't give it to one party if it's...
If you vacate it,
one-
it should be split down the middle, is my
Right.
understanding. It'd go to each side,
So we don't have to vacate a contingent upon that? Our vacating it would result
by
in that?
operation of law, it
Okay.
goes to both
So we're covered
sides.
just by law, and that's how it will be done then, okay? Well, I have no problem with it then, if you're okay with it. And the advisory plan commission, the advice of the plan commission is to recommend approval. So sounds like the plan officer has gone through all the procedures of getting the adjacent landowners notified. No one's in opposition to it, and the recommendation of that board is that we vacate it, so that's where we are. We would need a motion to adopt the ordinance the same day, same meeting first, and then we can make a motion to adopt ordinance 2022-04. Anybody have any questions on it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Look, I mean, it's 20, I don't know who owns all the lots, but it's in 21, 22, 23, and so if Handy could zone all those lots anyway, it wouldn't,
They very well might, I
it
don't
wouldn't
know.
bother, there wouldn't be any
Right.
landowners anyway, or anything in the future, but anyway. Dan, if you're all right with that,
Yeah,
I'll make a motion.
go ahead.
First of all, at the same day, same meeting as far as approving of the ordinance.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay?
And then second of all, then I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance, and the number is right, Nicole, number 4, 2022-04, which vacates that part of the road that was underdeveloped.
And I'll second that.
Move second to approve ordinance number 2022-04, vacating a part of Valley Drive and Hidden Valley subdivision. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Do you have a copy you want us? Oh, you have, Dan, you got it already, okay.
Yes, I have two copies.
Okay.
Okay, so mix them up for you here, we'll do it one at a time.
While you're looking, folks, while we're signing stuff, this is the new website. It's up for testing now. We're changing our website, trying to get in with the rest of the state and making it more accessible to people to use and have access to. We're hoping we can do everything that we can do online. People have access to that.
That's on the first one.
So it's in testing stage right now, so yeah. We'll get online, we'll play with it, see where we are.
Jefferson County, that's what theirs looks like.
Yep. That's the hope that we can get kind of standardized with the rest of the world.
Just to clean that up for you, Hannigan's due on all three of those lots.
Perfect, okay.
At least that's what they indicated on their petition, they said.
Perfect.
And they did give notice to all the surrounding landowners as
Super.
well.
Other than that, Jeff, there was no issue. Cassie recommended it.
Yeah. I was just going back to the packet because it'd been a little bit since I looked at it.
Okay, thank you. All right then, Chris, what you got?
There's two things. The first is the applying for a grant, the State Homeland Security Program grant, which would be $150,000, and it's to get a new console for the dispatch. The console is the bank of radios that the dispatcher speaks out through. And so most likely that console is going to cost between $200,000 and perhaps even $500,000. And so what this grant would do is help offset that cost. I've talked to the council, and we would look at using the 911 funds to cover the rest of that cost. The system we have now is over 15 years old. It runs on Windows XP, and I can't get any more spare parts for
Can't
it.
get parts yet, so we're just living on the edge right now.
Why so much of a variation from 200 to 500?
Different companies, and they also, when I threw the estimates out there, I put a lot of extra stuff in there to see what was available, and so that the one I got back from Motorola was over $500,000, but they put a lot of extra stuff in there. Another one was not a Motorola brand, but was a little bit less. So that was just to get estimates to see what was out there, and then we'll work. We'll see if we get the grant, and we'll see what we need, and we'll move through that.
Okay, sounds good. Is there a motion in, guys?
Yeah, I
Approve
make a
both of them.
motion, we turn Chris loose with a grant request for the $150,000 for the radio bank.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Okay.
Then the next thing is I want to work to change the dispatchers from, a salary schedule to an hourly schedule. And this isn't going to change the amount of money they get paid. It's just instead of it being, every 2 weeks they get a set amount, it's going to be you work an hour, you get paid that hourly rate. And what this will do is it'll really make the budgeting process easier.
Sure.
And it makes it easier to calculate I can figure out exactly how many hours the dispatch is open. I can multiply that out and figure in the overtime. So it makes it a lot easier to do the accounting from my end.
Okay.
And I think this is a council thing, but we're starting with you guys, and I'm going to plan, see if there's any issues, and then I'm going to plan it out, and then when it comes to the budget, it'll be included in the budget.
You guys have any concerns going from salary to hourly?
I don't have a problem with it. Like I say, I agree with you. I think the council should be,
Yeah, they set the salary ordinance, so I don't know what they would think, but,
if it's gonna make your life easier,
yeah, I mean, again,
keep
if
things straight, if
administrative
that's what
or-
you're more comfortable with, there's no reason for us to
They're gonna
tell
get
you
paid
what
what
to do
we're
with your.
whether they're
Yep.
salary or whether
I
they're hourly. It's just,
personally, I've always liked the hourly more than the salary things anyway. Especially in positions like that, because they do get called in with strange times and covering people and strange, that's the way they get track of everything, so I make that motion that we approve Chris to pursue changing the dispatchers from salary to hourly.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Okay,
Thank you very much.
and we'll go ahead now, Chris, and approve this.
Oh.
John, too, so that no, you're good.
Okay.
We go ahead and do this. So Chris is the one who brought it up about this, because we're gonna take everything out and we're gonna be replacing the carpet this week. he asked if we could do away with this just to make room, and it's not used for anything. It's out of the courthouse to begin with, and he asked if the Historical Society would have a place for it. And I looked today and we would. We can put it down in our basement for now, but we have a couple of other items from the courthouse. We just don't want them to disappear and go away, so I can make the motion that we authorize this chest to be moved from Annex 1 to the Historical Society.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. You guys have any other new business? Let me check, see what I got. If I don't put it in my phone, I won't remember it. I would like to make note, just in the minutes if we could, note the passing of Ron Cook from Bloomingdale. Ron Cook was one of the early people that owned Bloomingdale Home Telephone, and through his efforts and his family efforts, they've kept Bloomingdale Home Telephone in operation now for these past many, many years. And we are grateful to them for the work they've done with the trying to get internet around the county and bringing phone service to and internet service to the county through the jail as well as courthouse. So I just like to mention that our sympathies go out to the family of passing Ron Cook. Appreciate all the work he's done over the last 50 or so years. Okay, Parke County RX contract.
They hadn't sent us the final version of that,
Okay.
but as you and I talked, I reviewed that. I did talk with them again, and my understanding of it was correct, that there's going to be 2 monthly bills
Okay.
that come in, and then there's also going to be the actual cost that was incurred
Okay.
come in.
If you remember how that worked, it was outside of our regular insurance coverage on those pharmaceuticals, not all pharmaceuticals, but the ones that are listed.
24 of them.
Yes.
Yes. And so whatever we actually save, they would get 33% or 30%.
33%.
Yeah,
That was one of the
one
typos they
So
had.
that they get 33% of the savings, not of any cost, no fee paid, just of what we actually saved. So if we saved $100 by having them do that, they get 33, we saved 66.
But I think part of the problem was, there was a little bit of a discrepancy when we got the first copy of that draft of the contract. It looked like that we was also gonna have to pay them a monthly fee on top of that, correct?
So it does pay out twice a month, but it's under the 33%.
Okay.
And then there's also one for the actual cost they incur too
Okay.
that comes out. But they're supposed to send, well, they need to send us a final contract.
Okay.
Because the one they sent me had some typos in it.
Okay.
It was also an edited version that had like their own notes in it.
Did you let Nick know? Do I need to let him know?
I didn't let him know that,
Okay.
but I thought at the meeting he was aware that that was
Okay.
edited because I thought that's what he said to us at
Okay.
the meeting.
Nick Napier's going to talk about from Sutton.
Yeah.
And so he just needs to send us a
Yeah.
corrected contract.
Yeah, because part of that indicated 30%, but it had the words 33, and so they
Okay.
need to fix that.
Okay.
So,
Then I'd make the motion and that we enter into that contract once we get it for our RE Sutton for the pharmaceutical as we discussed.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Just on a side note, we already entered into the orthopedic side of that, and we have a council member who's going through that now with a knee replacement or hip on the other. And so far, he's really pleased with how that works, and that's really going to save a lot of money for our insurance as well. So I'm encouraged with the change that we made in insurance, that things are going to go a good direction, so let's hope so. All right. Before we get to departmentals, Hamilton Center's there, I know. You guys want to come up? I asked if they could come once in a while. One of the big concerns for Commissioners period, we had a meeting here some time ago, and it wasn't just me, and it certainly is not speaking ill at all of Hamilton Center. It's just we get asked sometimes, because we are obligated by the state to pay, and I don't even know how much we pay every year for our mental health services, and we only have the one source to pay, so we pay that to Hamilton Center. But when people ask me, well, what are we getting for that? I don't have an answer for that. So we've talked before in the past number of years, and there's been some directors over the past several years that we're gonna come on more regular basis. And I certainly don't expect you to be here every month at all. But maybe once a quarter or so, come tell us the kinds of things you've dealt with. Whether you think we're making progress, not making progress. So that's all. That's all we're asking. You just have reports. So when people ask, what are we getting for our money? But there's several thousands of dollars that we pay, and I'd rather have an answer than say I don't know. We just give them the money and they do whatever they do, and we don't ever hear from them. So, anything you want to share with us today? That'd be
I'm
fine.
glad to be put on the agenda for next.
Okay, let's plan on that
We'll
then.
do a full presentation.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Okay, and then if you make a note of that, please, ma'am, we'll get you on the agenda. And then if we maybe plan on is a quarterly too often?
No, that'd be perfect.
Okay, let's do maybe a quarterly thing, just to keep us in touch of what's going on, and maybe you'll have some needs from us that we need to address that are included in what we do already, so we just need to know better. You already know what you're doing, you know how to do what you do, we don't have a clue, but we'd like to know what it is you are doing, so when people ask us, we can account for the money that we spend, so we'd appreciate that, thanks. Okay, anybody else before we get to departmental reports? All right then, Randy here. Got truck bids today.
He's also got a BS engineering contract.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do the BS engineer while he's coming up here. This is the contract for the preliminary engineering to do the Bridgeton Bridge, where the request was made that when the Bridgeton Bridge surface is replaced to make it pedestrian.
Pedestrian also.
And I mentioned a while ago, it'd be a good conversation. I'm sure you've taken care of this, I'm sure, or at least I'm sure Randy has, but if not, it's just really important when the engineers are going to figure, they probably figure on the 50% capacity, how many people and how much weight per person, but there's going to be times that pedestrian bridge is going to be full of people, just going to be packed, and so they just need to make sure that they understand it's going to have to be capacity, whatever we can do, because it'll be body to body coming across that bridge. So whoever you talk to about doing that. But this is just a contract for the preliminary engineering to do, and the cost of the preliminary engineering report is $5,000.
Which we had already approved that, I think, haven't we?
Oh, we have. I just need to sign it. That's all
Yeah,
I need to do.
it's
Okay.
already been approved.
Okay. I just have one copy of this. Is all you need?
Yeah, we'll make copies. You
Okay.
know, or we'll keep a copy too.
You say they get 16?
Yep. All right, Nick, got your knife here handy? Yes, you
Got
do.
a sharp one this time, I hope.
Pass that down to Randy there, would you please?
I'll give that to Nick.
Yeah.
That didn't need to be tested or anything, did it? I didn't give you a chance to test it.
No, I don't see any place
Okay.
to do it. She can write it in there if she wants to do it though.
So what we're opening now are truck bids, and then after we get the bids open, Nick, turn just us and Randy have to make sure that everything's included that needs to be in place, and that the bids are proper, and opened at the appropriate time in front of witnesses, and then no more bids will be accepted. It's not an auction process where you can make a bid, and then if you want to bid again, you can. It's a sealed bid, and so we're opening them, and these are the bids that we will operate off of, and then choose who's going to supply our next trucks.
So this is from Stoops Freight Line, and they're just indicating they're unable to make a bid at this time due to ongoing market conditions.
That didn't surprise me a bit.
They did send some business cards along with it.
Okay. I would be surprised if all of them weren't that way.
It appears there are some in here, so. This is from Palmer Trucks. They'd like to quote the following 2023 or 2024 Kenworth T48 model chassis at $120,960. And they do have some warranties that they have as well, extended warranties. 5-year, 250,000 mile is $3,700. After treatment, 5-year, 250,000 miles, $1,250. AC is 5 years, $200,000 for $230, and towing is 5 years unlimited mileage, $1,660.
And who was that from?
That's from Palmer Trucks.
We got anything for them in the past?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kenworth.
Last Kenworth.
As you know, our former county attorney, John Asbury, passed away here this past year. And this always reminds me, John Asbury, when it's time to go big, you get that machete out that he carried.
Bigger than that?
Bigger than that, yeah.
I'll get a bigger one now.
Yeah, okay.
Got one in the truck. This is Rush Truck Center out of Indianapolis.
Jason is still back there?
He made the call.
I heard siren. I had to hear sirens going. I was wondering if you had to go too.
So it has a 2024 International AV 507 tandem for $123,779.37. Randy, you're gonna have to help me with this. I don't understand some of these parts. The hydraulics base bid, it looks like $75,764. So these are extras they're adding on. It looks like.
Yeah, you buy the bed separately.
All right, the floor AR 400 floor is included. There's a snow plow that's extra. That is a $19,235. And then a tailgate spreader with berming chutes.
Yeah.
Highway SA9 is $8160. And that's Rush Truck Center.
While Nick's doing that, I know on 36, the state highway, they're working on their Bain Bridge. They're coming this direction. You know how far they're coming to repaving 36?
No, I
You
don't.
haven't heard anything from them?
I didn't even
36 is a
know they was
mess.
doing it.
Last time we sent through there, it was at Henry Cross.
Okay.
How far this way?
I didn't see them come that far. They were just outside of Bain Bridge when we dealt with them.
They can get in as far as Henry
Good,
Cross.
good. Hope they keep coming. Man, that middle,
Yeah.
it's just falling apart. It's 6 inches deep in huge places.
Hopefully they'll go clear to the state line.
This is Vomac Truck Sales and Services. They've quoted a Volvo VHD 64 B300 for $129,119.66. Comes with a hydraulics Duraclass Force $59,681.23. Says NA as far as floor. Snow plow at Hinky 36R11 for $23,130.34. Tailgate spreader with berming chutes, a Swinson 5BD95 for $8,608.99.
So far they're considerably less. The bed and the hydraulics quite a bit less, a little more of a truck, but
That was all of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll look these over and I'll have your recommendations for the next meeting.
That's it.
I have a claim, out-cycle claim for $52,623.90. BS Engineering for Phase 2 bridge inspection.
52,623.90.
Yep.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the out-of-cycle check for VS Engineering for the second phase of the bridge inspection for $52,623.90.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Hey Jim, I got a machete that's about that tall
That'll
in the
work.
truck. Will that get us there?
That'd get in there, yeah. His folded up.
Mine won't fold up. They look like Rambo.
We have got the notice to proceed for public bidders for community crossing grant 2022-1, I think it is. I need a motion on that and signature.
And I signed the form the other day, DocuSign email with the state for the grant too, so that's covered, that's done.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask, if you
yeah.
would do another motion for the community crossing for you to sign.
No, unless Jim does, you can go ahead.
So all this is just a request to issue bids for
Yes.
community crossings, yeah. I make a motion that we authorize the submission of this request for bids for community crossings work.
And I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
I'll have to have that back after you sign it, Bruce.
What else you got?
They're gonna be starting in Bridgeton Streets tomorrow.
Great.
Supposed to be,
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Great.
Was gonna be next week, but they got postponed on a state job, so. So that'll be going. And we're gonna start making pug mix for our paving, May the 31st.
Okay,
We'll be working on that a couple of weeks, I imagine.
okay.
And we plan on starting to chip and seal right at the middle of June,
Okay.
do our dust controls, and then go move into that.
I did track down one of Townsend's bosses. They've been doing a lot of tree trimming.
Mm-hmm.
And they cut a big ash tree and piled the whole thing right in the waterway. So I had a talk with them and told them either they'll send you down there or one of the deputies to deal with it if they take it back out. Because that road floods as soon as the water can't get away quick enough to let it. And I don't know why they've got in their head, they can cut a whole tree down and let it pile right in the ditch and
Mm-hmm.
plug them up. I can't get it, I don't understand.
I don't know, unless they plan on getting right back. Didn't they?
Well,
I don't know.
half of that was there from a year ago that I called Duke Energy is, so they come out, got one pickup load, the rest of it's still there right in the ditch on Jeffers Ford. This one was right there on Bridgeton Road before, you know where it always floods, it goes across the road?
Oh, yeah.
It was right down towards the bridge, they piled it right there in that curve,
Huh.
so
Okay.
it's a constant battle.
Yeah.
Okay, we were also discussing, you know, that we've got 280,000 left at the community crossings for this year that we can get. And we were trying to decide whether we just need to pull up our list that we made last year and see what we could do. That's about 2.5 miles worth of stuff. Or you had requested changing to, for you to do 275 and to the one south of there, what's that?
Oh, 200.
200, okay. And
And still do
and then
Beedale
do
Road.
Beedale 1 later. Would this cover, how long is it from Golf Course Road to Strawberry Road? Is it 2.5 miles?
No, it's not quite, I don't think. I don't have
Say-
that paperwork with me.
Let's say check it and whichever you
Mile
think
and a
should.
half, mile and 3/4, something like that, I think.
Okay. We'll look at that if we would before, when's the next
See,
round?
the Golf course road will be 2 miles north of 41,
Okay, okay.
so it's less than that.
And what's the date for the submission for the next round, of community crossing?
Be in July, I think.
July, okay. Let's get some numbers together, see if you think that's a good place to go back and add that to that. Or if you want to go back and make it as we did, and then we, just whatever works out best. But we've got about 2.5 miles, we should, no guarantee we'll get it, of course.
No.
But there's 2.5 miles there we can get covered yet with the community crossing, so I'd say look at those and see if those are your best options to get.
Unless you've got another
Unless you got something
2.5
else.
miles somewhere
The
that's
other road that
totally,
we
we've
looked
already,
at
yeah.
was 350 north, and it's almost 5 miles.
Okay, we can do that then. Okay,
Well, we can't
look at that and see.
do that one, because that's.
Come up with a suggestion of what we ought to go for, and then we go make sure we get that in. We may not get 2 grants in the same year, but maybe we will. Won't know until we ask and see what happens. Okay. Anything else you need from us?
No, I don't think so.
You guys got any questions for him?
Nope, have a good evening.
Are you fully staffed?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I don't know why you asked that, it's never happened.
I know.
You know.
Forever hopeful.
You can't keep
I
it
did a
up.
few applications, but they're non-CDLs. I've got
Yeah,
Okay.
4 of those now,
ain't gonna have so many.
not making any headway on getting their CDLs.
Good.
Give them a wheelbar.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I have.
Be careful. Rick.
You guys take care.
Sheriff's Department. Congratulations, Mr. Frazier, on your election.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
I feel a lot better.
They're good things to have over.
Yeah. Working on a grant for $5,970 through the Community Foundation. That's going to pay for school resource officer training for 6 officers. That pays for their lodging. So we just need your blessing for that.
Yeah. Just so everybody understands, when the departments come to us to ask requests to submit a grant, it may seem silly for us to have them come and get our blessing on the grant request, but the state requires that of us to make sure that we don't have 2 departments competing for the same grant source. This is a different thing, but we're still required to go through that process. There's been times in the past where maybe we had 2 areas within the county applying for a pot of money from OKRA or USDA or something, and we just have to make sure that they're not competing against each other. But this is a separate thing. This is from the Community Foundation, so there's no conflict there with anything.
Yeah, he'll just need one.
I'll go ahead with the motion if we approve the sheriff's office to go after this grant through the Community Foundation for training for resource officers.
And I'll second that.
All fair say aye.
There's like 7 copies there, Jim, but I think you probably need to
Just
sign
one?
one.
Okay.
That's all I have unless you guys have any questions.
There it is. Okay, I guess you'll make copies of that then. Just one enough for you? You want more
Yeah,
sign?
yeah, I'll take a copy.
Okay. Sign's on top. Thanks, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, that's all the department. Anybody else, public, have any comments? Well, yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to give an update on extension, so I've put together a little handout to kind of highlight some of the programs we've done this spring.
Great.
You guys.
You had some personnel changes out there too.
We do. So Friday was Gail's last day, so that I've been assured that they thought that position would get posted last week, but still, I just looked today. It wasn't
Not
on there,
there yet,
so
okay.
no. But because she transferred to Vigo County, they're going to move those applicants, contact them, and let them know that the opening is in Parke County now.
Oh,
so
okay.
hopefully that.
Good.
And because they aren't paying out benefits and things like that, we can hire immediately.
Okay.
So shouldn't be. I'm hopeful it's before fair.
Okay.
So they didn't see a problem with that as long as
Great.
we get some applicants in there. So
Fairly's kind of busy at the time, so kind of need everybody on board with that. Yeah.
Yeah, but Gail was real organized. She already had a lot of things planned out for, her aspect in the fair, and
She doing the same job there as she was doing here?
no, she's just HHS there.
Okay,
Yeah, but she had a lot of things organized and just
great,
CC'd me on the email and said, Chrissy's your contact now for this
Great.
and these events, so,
great.
yeah.
We appreciate you. It's a great program.
Yeah.
Keep her going.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes?
Hi, I'm Natalie Montgomery. I'm a clerk treasurer down in Rosedale.
Uh-huh.
And we had some questions about our bridge
Okay.
that you guys say, is it a bridge? Is it not a bridge? I actually caught Randy in the hallway too. So I brought some pictures. I don't know if anybody has come down and looked at this for a really long time. I know he's talking about perhaps trying to put it in the budget for next year, but we took some pictures today. It's really getting rough.
Yep.
It's really starting to come apart. That is, our main way in and out of town. And it just seemed like it was kind of being put back on the back burner. We were under the impression it was already in the budget, but Randy said it's maybe going in next year's budget.
I wasn't aware of it being in the budget now. I know the request is in place to do that. I thought it was next year myself. The only thing that's changed on that is how the Trails Alliance would like to have a wider spot for pedestrians as well.
Correct.
And what we agreed to before was that we would go ahead and pay whatever amount that we would normally pay for a normal bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And then any extension needed to accommodate the trails would be paid for the trails. That way we're making sure we're not using any county money on the trails project.
Right.
So that's the only thing I've heard about. I didn't think it was in the budget for this year. I thought it was next year as well.
Okay.
And I was down there about 2 weeks ago and looked it over, and I'm sure if we're responsible for it, it has been inspected, so.
Well, I just asked Randy, and he said it's not regularly inspected, but
Right.
it has been inspected in the past.
Yes. The reason
But-
it's not, bridge has to be 20 feet to be a bridge. This is a culvert, I think.
Right, well-
Is that right? This is
Yeah,
less
it's
than 20
considered a
feet.
box
It is
culvert.
considered, I understand it's considered a culvert, but it is our main road in
Yes,
and
it
out of
is.
town, and our school buses, and everyone's traveling it.
Yep.
So, is there a way to have it inspected?
I'd say just talk to Randy about that. It's something to be done. But I don't know what year or how long ago it was inspected, I don't know. But if they didn't have a concern with it, probably not if it's going to be replaced next year. But we can certainly ask Randy to look at that. And when he
Okay.
has the bridge inspectors down, if they think it needs to be looked at, we can do that.
Right, I mean, I think that after we've been back and forth multiple times for some boring and some things like that for the Trail Association stuff, and we've noticed that it really is in disrepair. I mean, it's
Yeah.
getting pretty rough down there.
That's why we were looking to replace it anyway. Yeah, that was going to be done regardless of the trails thing.
And it's basically the county would be responsible for a 20-foot road width, or a 24-foot road width, and the trails was wanting 12, so it's pretty easy to divide it up if they go ahead and, which would do away with the sidewalk on the west side.
Right.
There would be double guardrail through there, and there would be basically a 12-foot right-of-way through there for foot traffic.
For the yes.
Looking forward to it, to getting the new one. So let me talk to Randy and see if he thinks the bridge inspector needs to look when he's down there. And we'll just
Okay.
have to work that out
All right.
and raise it with him. Thanks for
All
bringing our attention. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Anybody else have anything to bring before us?
I guess one more thing on this, I can't imagine him not at least going down there and looking at it, taking some measurements, because he did already give us a estimate on what the cost was. Randy had that in here before, I seen the copy from VS Engineering, so he would have had to go down and take measurements and depth and all that, so I couldn't imagine him not at least putting his eyes
I
on
would
it.
think so. But they definitely what was there to
Yes.
replace it with.
Yes.
But we'll find out for sure. We're not going to assume anything. We'll make sure Randy looks at it, make sure whatever
Right.
was inspected last where we are.
It
So.
runs in my mind, it was somewhere around that 220,000 was about where they was at, so.
We will take care of that.
Great.
Anybody else have anything? A motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
We're adjourned.